State Affairs. Have you seen the front page of the Saturday Punch? TUC 79 orders, planned protest strike. Ferguson, NURTW, Northern groups condemn new pricing regime. Oni's desperation to be governor behind his support for Fayose, Oluyemi speaks. Orders attend BBC debate. Hello, it is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station.
Overweight for you. Serenity sleep without you. 105.5. 'Cause I am too fly for this. So I'll be gone in no time.
Splash FM 105.5.
State Affairs.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo. State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
All right, let's look at some of the points we'll be dealing with on this edition of State Affairs. The Christian Association of Nigeria rejects outrightly the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. The act was signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 7th of August. That blows no one any good. Khan says it's a time bomb waiting to explode. Now, if you look at this statement coming from Abob Chambers, signed by Femi Aborishade, you would realize the intensity of the call for a new dawn. The chamber writes a magistrate court asking that in pursuant to the Coroner's Law Section 3, subsection 1, of which vests jurisdiction in any magistrate within the jurisdiction where the violent death occurred, to hold inquest. So the chamber requests her lordship, his worship rather, or her worship, on behalf of the grieving family of Richard Gbadebo, on behalf of the deceased Richard Gbadebo, whose blood the chamber says is crying to high heavens for justice, and the society too, whose norms and values have been desecrated. The chamber calls on the magistrate court to cause a coroner's inquest to be conducted into the cause of the violent and unnatural death of Richard Gbadebo. This letter is written by Abob Chambers, signed by Femi Aborishade. We would look at the letter in details as the program rolls. So just roll with me. Shea Makinde is in the news here. I quote the governor, "Any person with sound financial knowledge will tell you that the only way to get out of this cycle of poverty is through massive investment in infrastructure. As I have always said, the problem with loans is not in taking them, but in the way loans are utilized. Seyi Makinde says Oyo State cannot get out of its infrastructural deficit without taking loans targeted at developing key infrastructure." Let's listen to Governor Seyi Makinde talking about the revised 2020 budget of Oyo State.
This is the second time in just about a year that we're about to review the Oyo State government budget downward. The reason for this latest revision is apparent to all. The economic meltdown we're experiencing, occasioned by the crash in oil prices, coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic, has greatly affected our state's ability to stick with the original budget. The issue of poor budget performance. We make robust presentations of plans that mostly end on paper because the funds are not available to implement them. When you have an annual budget performance of about 30%, you will understand why we keep having stagnation in economic growth. Oyo State is viewed as a civil service state because we have not taken the needed action to boost the economy. So we have taken some steps to ensure that the 2020 revised budget is adequately funded. So the steps that we have taken should result, with this budget that we've just signed, it should result in to fund priority capital projects. So this revised budget includes 65.2 billion naira for capital projects, while 108.9 billion naira is for recurrent expenditure. We plan to pay a huge chunk of our recurrent expenditure through our allocation from the Federation account, plus our internally generated revenue.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Let me tell you about an eminent scholar that's no more. I'm talking about Professor Oladipo Akinkugbe. He died on the 15th of June 2020 at age 86. He was emeritus professor in the Department of Medicine, Faculty of the Clinical Sciences, University of Ibadan. Akinkugbe became a professor of medicine in 1968 at the age of 35. He served as the Dean of Medicine, UI, from 1970 to 1974. He was a visiting professor at Harvard University from 1974 to 1975 and became the foundation principal and later vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, and that was from 1975 to 1978. He would later become the vice chancellor of Madujemo University, Zaria, from 1978 to 1980. I am talking about an eminent scholar that's no more. I am talking about Professor Ladipo Akinkugbe. He returned to Oxford University in 1981 as visiting professor of medicine and fellow of Ballion College, and then back to the University of Ibadan in 1982, where he remained until retirement in 1995. He served as the chairman of the Joint Admission Matriculation Board, JAMB, chairman of the Federal Government Implementation Committee on Review of Higher Education, and he was chairman of the Implementation Committee for the Rehabilitation of Teaching Hospitals in Nigeria. He was also a chairman of the board of the University College Hospital, Ibadan. Professor Akinkugbe was a foundation fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, fellow West African College of Physicians, and fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science. He was recipient of the Nigerian National Order of Merit in 1997. I'm telling you the story of an eminent scholar. He died at the age of 86, but he left a mark. The reason I have a story to tell. He was decorated with the award of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2004. He authored, co-authored, or edited over 10 books. Have you seen the book High Blood Pressure in the African? He co-authored the book with Professor Falashe, a cardiologist and former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan. Akinkugbe's autobiography is entitled Footprints and Footnotes. I recommend the book to you. If you read the book, you will understand the power of knowledge and the power of the mind. I have the book. Akinkugbe's autobiography is entitled Footprints and Footnotes. I recommend the book to you. Wow, Akinkugbe is no more. Such is life. Someday, we'll fly away. Who said we don't fly? We are birds. We fly. Just that our wings are invisible. Such is life. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station.
Together so that we could love each other, brother. We are here. single mother where they come from. How we gonna save the nation with no support for education? Cause right now it don't make sense. Right now it don't make sense. Let's talk about our part. My heart touch your heart. Let's talk about living. Had enough of dying, not what we all about. Let's do more giving, do more forgiving. Yeah, our souls were brought together so that we could love each other, sister. We are here. We are here for all of us. We are here for all of us. That's why we are here. Why we are here. We are here. We are here for all of us. We are here for all of us. That's why we are here. Why we are here. We are here. We are here. We are here for all of us. We are here for all of us. That's why we are here. Why we are here. We are here.
Yes, Alicia Keys there, talking to the word, calling on the word to find that rhythm that brings peace. But I want us to look at what I call the next confrontation. Perhaps you'll be able to seep out some meanings and use it in your analysis of global affairs. Perhaps it will make you understand why the word is what it is at the moment. Remember the Cold War? Remember that sustained political and military tension between the Western Bloc, led by the United States of America? Remember the Eastern Bloc, led by the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR? You remember that the Cold War emerged from the end of World War II in 1945. It is called the States at the time was Britain, France, West Germany, and other powers. Eastern Europe had Poland, Hungary, and Romania. Yugoslavia, the word allies of the Soviet Union. What was the reason for the war, a Cold War? One of the reasons given is the United States' ambition to expand its overseas trade in the countries of Eastern Europe. The Soviet Union considers this an affront in its sphere of influence. So what do you see? It's a conflict of capitalism against communism. The struggle leaves poor countries at the mercy of big powers. The war ends with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, leaving devastations on the psyche of the world, sponsoring and supporting conflicts in Afghanistan, Angola, Vietnam, Korea, Ethiopia, and other countries. What is the consequence of that war? Have you asked where Boko Haram came from? Have you thought of ISIS? Have you looked deeply at Al-Qaeda? Have you seen why global competition affects domestic affairs? Remember, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in the 1970s. When the Soviet Union invaded, the Soviet Union imposed communism on Afghanistan, and it led to resistances. You must have read of the Mujahideen. Osama bin Laden was part of the Mujahideen. How did it transform from the Mujahideen to Al-Qaeda? How did it become the Taliban? Does this send a picture clearly? The United States laughed last as it established its hegemony. The Soviet Union collapsed, splitting into Russia, Ukraine, Georgia, and other smaller countries. The fall of communism is the explosion of market fundamentalism. And this cursed Francis Fukuyama to state that the world had reached a final bus stop ideologically, that liberal democracy is the final form of human development, and that the end of history is the consolidation of capitalism in every corner of the world. Petroleum product. Francis Fukuyama made the point that with the end of the Cold War, the world had come to the end of history, that the end of history is the establishment of market over every other consideration. So do you understand why the Buhari government would go ahead to deregulate? That it's not just about the domestic political situation here. It has a global dimension. And that global dimension is driven by market, and market is regulated by the big powers. If you told Buhari, hey, cut down the price, Buhari says there are conditions. There are conditions with the World Bank. There are conditions with the IMF. Have you read the Washington Consensus? Buhari will tell you that. Perhaps my hands are tied. So how do you play big in this kind of system? You must be part of the owners of the global economy. Nigeria is not an owner yet. To be owners of the global economy, you must be scientifically powerful. In that case, I would say, in our time, we are going to build airplanes. In that case, we are going to build our trains. In that case, we are going to build warships and begin to construct infrastructures that will lift our people out of poverty. For now, Buhari's hands are tied. Do I sympathize with Africa? But before I move to the next point, that Fukuyama made his point did not end the argument. Fukuyama's argument is challenged by the view that the efforts of the West to promote its values of democracy and liberalism as universal values, to maintain its military predominance, and to advance its economic interest, engender countering responses from other civilizations. It is termed the West versus the rest. You will see this in my new book. I hope you will read my book. Furthering the argument, M.Y. Akbar, an Indian Muslim scholar, states that the West's next confrontation is definitely going to come from the Muslim world. Look at the point he made here. I'm talking about M.Y. Akbar. He states, it is in the sweep of the Islamic nations from Maghreb to Pakistan that the struggle for a new world order will begin. Can you feel it domestically? For our nation to be tough, you need to play tough international politics. is Buhari playing the big politics required for the development of Africa? If Nigeria's foreign policy is centered on Africa, how influential is Nigeria in neighboring Ghana? How influential is Nigeria in neighboring Togo? Can Nigeria influence the domestic policies in South Africa, like China is influencing domestic politics in Nigeria, like America has the hegemony to influence domestic politics in Iraq and Iran? Where is the world headed? Growing conflicts tied to Islam in the Middle East, the Sahel in Africa, and the fear of attacks in Europe and America give credence to the civilization clash theory. A new world order is coming. Where will Africa be? As you think about that, let me also give you something else to wonder about. Have you read the statement coming from the Christian Association of Nigeria? What is it about? Who is getting angry and who does not feel comfortable about the law? The Christian Association of Nigeria reject outrightly, the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari on August 7. Khan asserts the law, to say the least, is unacceptable, ungodly, reprehensible, and an ill wind that blows no one any good. It is a time bomb waiting to explode. Boom! That is what Khan is saying. Pastor Muyiwa Bamgbose, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Good morning, thank you.
Ungodly. Is the law ungodly?
I mean, definitely, it doesn't look like it's from God. So if it's not from God, then it's ungodly.
But God don't make constitutions.
The ground norm, the source, the foundation of every law is God. And anything that defies the foundation is standing on faulty grounds.
Remember, God made man so that man would make law to govern itself.
But according to God's laws.
So if man makes the law, indirectly, God gives man the wisdom to make the law. And Buhari has signed the law.
But are we sure he got that wisdom from God? That's the problem.
How do you say that to a president who knows almost everything?
Well, to start with, he was sick. So he didn't know everything.
Okay. Pastor Francis Madujemo, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Thank you.
The law is reprehensible. That is what Khan is saying.
It's very interesting to me that a huge document, that's probably the largest policy document in this country. The last time it was properly reviewed was 1990. It's taken us 30 years to review that document properly. And I think we're just taking one section of it and throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think we should be a little bit more considerate. So I think the basic thing is the fact that in writing the policy, and policy is very important to government, to any organization, in writing the policy, somebody was careless enough not to be specific about the religion of the people who are going to be allowed to understanding has really started stirring up all sorts of ill will. But we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's some good things in the thing that has to do with entrepreneurs and businesses. But the issue that has to affect the churches and other religions need to be looked at again and refined. We're in a democracy. There's no reason why we can't challenge it and get it changed. But I don't think it's a fight per se. I think it's just carelessness that shouldn't be allowed. And the way they represented the small and medium scale industry in the that were made, but I think they can be corrected.
Reverend Oluyemi Perez. Good to see you this morning.
It's good to see you again. Thank you.
What do you think?
You know, Edmund Obilo, there's one thing about you I've noticed. I listened to the exercise you just made from your planned book, and I saw one thing. Even this battle we are in is a battle for the new world order. There is a steering from the Islamic fundamentalists to take over the world from the West, and they are using China also as a backup to fight this battle, and that's why you have this battle for the throne of the U.S. in November. That's why it's the hottest ever in the history of mankind. That's why you see all this riot going on in the U.S. for the first time. U.S. has become like a third world, which is a wrong motive from the beginning. All life matter. You don't just say Black Lives Matter. If you see the inspiration behind this, then it's wrong. You see that all they want to do is to pull down Donald Trump. And why do they want to pull him down? Is to put down the West, to put down the ideology of capitalism, replace it with a leftist ideology.
How does the church come in?
Where the church comes in is that, you know, the church were the one that prayed in Donald Trump at the beginning. They were the evangelicals were the one that came together. The prayer had been taken out of school, crime rate had gone on, transgender started taking over, the homosexuality, gay, everybody. They propagate this thing publicly that without shame, to the extent that the rage has gone up so much against the whole world.
All right. I will come back and I will want to get your opinion on the karma law. The program is State Affairs. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Is live.
Splash FM 105.5.
My name na Efe, but my friends they call me Phil. Every time I play, na so I dey lose like play. But as I begin play 1xBet, na so my level change. Now my friends they call me Efrebo. 1xBet, you go win so tey you go tire. Go
is back with incredible rock bottom prices on your favorite items. Free meal voucher. Wow, for 10,000 naira shopping and above. Check out our amazing prices. Malta Guinness can 33cl pack of 6 for 785 naira. No chicken seasoning cube pack of 40 for 500 naira. Golden Mon 450 gram for 640 naira. Everwater 50cl pack of 12 for 640 naira. Honeywell macaroni Cavito 500 gram for 175 naira. So, what are you waiting for? Start shopping. Take advantage of Foodco Festival of Savings and enjoy a fiesta of low prices on your favorite drinks, groceries, and spices in all our stores. Promo runs from 27th August to September 6, 2020. Foodco Festival of Savings offers valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
Ní nǹkan bí ọgbọ̀n ọdún sẹ́yìn ní orílẹ̀-èdè Amẹ́ríkà bẹ̀rẹ̀ US Visa Lottery. Àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tó ṣàmúlò àǹfààní ọ̀hún nígbà náà ni wọ́n ti dánmọ̀ onílẹ̀ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Amẹ́ríkà, Canada, Australia àti New Zealand kó àwọn aṣojú wọn láwọn orílẹ̀-èdè gbogbo padà sílùú oko wa wọn. Ṣùgbọ́n ní báyìí ohun gbogbo yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ padà lákọ̀tun. Ọgbà tíṣẹ́ bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ lórí ìwé akópa tó bá ti wà ńlẹ̀. Àsìkò yìí ni àwọn olóyè máa ń ṣàmúlò kí wọ́n ó lè rí visa wọn gbà. Jonathan King Limited ti múra sílẹ̀ de àwọn tó fẹ́ ṣàmúlò àǹfààní yìí. Jonathan King Limited ó sì gbé ọ nígbọ̀wọ́ láti jẹ́ kí àlá rẹ di mímúṣẹ kí o lè gbé tàbí ṣiṣẹ́ ní Canada, Australia tàbí New Zealand nírọ̀rùn. Tara ṣàṣà gba fọ́ọ̀mù tiẹ̀ lónìí ní Jonathan King Limited, Ajakini àti Ìkẹfà, Cocoa House Ìbàdàn. Ọjọ́ 29 oṣù kẹsàn-án ní forúkọsílẹ̀ ó wà sópin o.
Hello? James, look, I'm on the expressway. My car just broke down. I don't even know what to do.
Sorry, you do not have sufficient credit to continue this call.
Oh, please, no.
Why not?
This is an important call.
Then you should have recharged.
I would, but I'm in a position where I can't.
Why not borrow some credit then?
Borrow credit? How?
With Glow Borrow Me Credit, you can borrow airtime and pay later. It's easy. Just dial *321# and follow the instructions.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Glow is always there for you when it matters most.
Sorry, James. As I was saying, my car just broke down now and I have no help here.
Talk now, pay later with Glow Borrow Me Credit.
Glow Unlimited.
Òwúrọ̀ àkọ́tún ètò ní ìkànnì Splash FM 105.5 ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Monday sí ọjọ́ Sunday láàrin aago 5:30 ìdájí sí 6 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. pẹ̀lú wòlíì Ọlọ́run alààyè Apostle SMO Mustapha JP bàbá Ṣebíọba. Òwúrọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run wípé gbogbo ẹni tó bá wá mi ní kùtùkùtù wọ́n rí mi. Àǹfààní ní ìfún ọ láti ní ìbápàdé Ọlọ́run nínú ayé bàbá Ṣebíọba ní ìkànnì Splash FM 105. Náà láti jẹ́ aládùn Ọlọ́run nípasẹ̀ ìránṣẹ́. Ìwọ náà máa darapọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ láago 5:30 ìdájí 5:30 a.m. sí 6 ọgbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú iṣẹ́ agbára látẹ́gùn pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run nínú ayé bàbá Ṣebíọba. Apostle SMO Mustapha ìjọ Seed of Christ Golden Church International lóṣù nígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀ ìrì òwúrọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ ní ìkànnì ìrírí iṣẹ́ agbára tó ṣàrà ọ̀tọ̀ nígbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
Hello, network yóò máa dáa. Jẹ́ ń gbógi lọ kí n lè gbọ́ dáadáa o.
Àmísù ọmọ hàn rẹ̀ lé mọ̀ lọ́rẹ̀ fọrùn kọ́ gímbẹ̀hùn ọ̀dà ńgbà kó sì mọ̀ lẹ́nu ilé ìkọ́ ọmọ bó ṣe wà sí.
Èyí mà tún ga kẹ́ wo bí gbogbo nẹ́tíwọ̀kì ṣe dúró wa kéke.
Xiaomi smartphone ló kù báyìí táyé ń ta sí. Ìwọ kàn gbọ́sẹ̀ wò kó rí bó ṣe dúró tán. Gbogbo kùgú ayé ló pè sórí ẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sáwọn fóònù ṣàwòrò dẹ. àti internal memory ẹ lọ bí ọlọ́run pápá ló ń ṣáàjì láì ní wàhálà. Gbogbo àwọn tó ti yáyí Xiaomi phones ló ń ṣàwùdá sọ́lọ́run lóríṣiríṣi ní Xiaomi smartphones Redmi Note 9 Pro, Redmi 9A, Redmi 9C, Redmi 9 àti Redmi Note 9. Xiaomi smartphone ó ní screen protector àti calibration tó ṣe dáadáa. Gbogbo ilé ìtajà tó ń ta ojúlówó ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́tí lè rí pẹ̀lú owó péréte tí ọ̀gá nílára pé Xiaomi smartphone ẹgbẹ́ pàlà ṣàṣọnù kẹ̀jẹ̀ kúgbó ayé. Xiaomi, innovation for everyone.
Splash FM 105.5.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Before the election, my team
read, but you should have given me the book even then, because all the data from the field actually pointed to the fact that we were going to win. So we just went for the election.
I needed to wait for the official result. So this book is entitled Decolonizing Nigeria 1945 to 1960. We promised 10 books. Mr. Governor, we have delivered.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, I know Professor Falola very well.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
And this one is entitled Know Your Country and Beyond, or Your State.
Okay.
So these are your books, Mr. Governor.
Well, thank you so much. I promise you I will read the books. I do read quite a bit with Oyo State work. Thank you. With Oyo State work, I believe I'm a little bit lazy. But within a year, I'll finish this book.
Good. Yeah. And education is one of your major policies. So yes. What do you have to tell young persons about reading? Because knowledge is power. And
if you need to be unshackled, from poverty, then you need to seek for knowledge. That is the only thing that my parents gave to me, and it is the only thing that brought me to where I am today. So, as many of our young ones that are willing to seek out knowledge, I'm sure that they will reap the benefits in the years to come.
Thank you, Mr. Governor, for finding time to talk to us.
Thank you so much, Edmund, and it's a pleasure, reuniting after the election. So,
thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
The Christian Association of Nigeria rejects outrightly the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari on August 7. Khan asserts the law, to say the least, is unacceptable, ungodly, reprehensible, and an ill wind that blows no one any good. It is a time bomb waiting to explode. Reverend Oluyemi Perez, founder Achievers Rock Commission, is on State Affairs. Did you hear that? A time bomb waiting to explode?
Certainly it's a time bomb waiting to explode. But the church caused it.
How?
I'm about explaining certain things. But we cannot leave the church in the gallows, in the noose of those who want to hang the church at this moment.
Some people want to hang the church?
That is exactly what they want to do.
Tell me more.
All these things are against, they are towards, they are gravitating, there are things to levitate and gravitate towards 2023 election. They want to guard the church. They want to disenfranchise the church, disempower the church, depopulate the church.
How?
Dismember the church. I'm coming. Financial ability and capacity is a power, is a tool. Money answers all things. The moment you cave into the account of the church, the moment you begin to say you want to freeze the account of the church, you're freezing the power of the church. And the moment you say you can put in anybody as the member of the board of trustees who's not there before, you're introducing another spirit.
Is the church a court?
The church is not a court. That's what I want to say. Now, the church is a family. Look at it from the word of God in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2. He said, let me look, chapter 12. Look at what he said. He said, for as a body is one, so we have many members, and all members of that all members of that one body, being many, are one body. So also is Christ. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body. It's not a cult, but it's a spiritual phenomenon. It's a mystery. The church is a family.
But again,
you can't just put it.
It's not crying here. The shrine is not crying. Why the church?
Well, the one that is pinched the most is the one that will shout. And the one that is also alert and aware is the one that shouts. Some people have blamed the leadership of the church for not stopping this before it happened, but I don't think they could have done anything. I mean, of course, people heard and people said things, but those who were bent, and that is the scary part. Is there a hidden agenda? Because when you create a situation then you wonder. So there are things that have suggested that there's an agenda. There are things that have suggested that it's not a level playing ground. There are things that have suggested that some people are orchestrating a plan. And so if you are going on with any error or being quiet about what you observe, then you are playing into the hand of the enemy.
That's the thing.
Look at what Khan said. Pastor Madujemo. Khan says the satanic session (839), subsection 1 and subsection 2, which empowers the commission to suspend trustees of an association, in this case the church, and appoint the interim managers to manage the affairs of the association for some given reasons. So what this somebody appointed by government to run Redeem, is that what the law is saying?
No. You see, one of the reasons why I was a bit reluctant to be here today is because, you see, I totally have a different perspective to most of this thing. And it's not a very popular one. Who's the church? Let's go back to basics. Who's the church? It's not Redeemed Christian Church of God. It's everybody that is in the
Did you say that?
Yeah, that's the church. Is the only organization that exists for its non-members.
How?
Because its job is to bring people who are not members of the church into it in order to save those who are still outside. We have a job to do. You understand what I'm saying? We have a job which is to reach the world and bring them to Christ. And so when you join the church, your job now is for you to bring those who are not in the church back into the church so that they can be saved. Our assignment
to bring people into the church.
No. You see, this is the part I want to. I don't have the law has a problem of interpretation right now. Number two, you need a court order for any of these activities to take place. It's not a this. It's not something. I don't believe in this conspiracy theory. For instance, America is not in the Bible. That's very funny. And people are putting so much emphasis on Trump. Are there, the Chinese are there. When we get to heaven, we're not going to speak in English. There'll be a lot of people speaking Chinese.
You've already seen what heaven is like.
What I'm saying to you is based on the simple statistics of people going to be saved. Take who's the largest population in the world. It's not. This is not rocket science. The point I'm trying to make is that we normally just take this perspective. I agree, but the point I'm trying to make is this. We are so focused on the fact that we are not as powerful as we should be. How many successful Christians are multi-billionaires contributing to the economy? Am I making sense? I'll give you an example. A Muslim is not trained he's indoctrinated to look after his religion. A Christian is indoctrinated to look after everybody, whether they are part of you or not. I don't know if you get my point. Our orientation is completely different. In other words, I will give the job to the best person who can do the job, whether it's a Muslim or a Christian if I'm running a secular organization. But if a Muslim is in charge of an organization or somebody who belongs to a particular religion, he's designed to go and select people of his own religion or his own tribe. You have a different perspective.
You are the pastor of the Breed Network.
Yes.
Will you allow a Muslim to supervise the church?
If I'm running a secular job, that's what I said.
But now you are not running a secular house, but will you allow a Muslim to chair the board?
He doesn't even understand what we're unequally yoked. Doesn't understand what we're doing. But the point I'm making is that would a Muslim allow a Christian to come and run their own board either?
Yes, I will also ask them.
So my problem is, it's not a problem. We are fighting for the good of all religions, that this thing should be corrected. Okay. It's not a matter of church. That's what the way we want to worship.
And so this law,
this law should be done in such a way that it satisfies our guidelines and our belief systems. We say in the Bible, don't be unequally yoked.
Okay.
So want you to go and marry us to the Muslim group because they have their own jobs to do.
Reverend Perez.
There is one thing. Let me just say something about what he's trying to talk about. Reverend Madujemo, he said something. One of the things I've noticed that is causing this bad belly, most of the people in the government of Buhari that postulate this law, they're not been passed in any nation of the world, not even in America, that you have the greatest Christian network in the world right now.
I need to research that.
You have to research it. You know, in America, even the government give money to churches to prosper. They empower churches.
Do you need money?
Even the church. And that's why they do it in the US. That's why they do it in the UK. That's what they do in the UK. You know, in UK, the government give money to the church.
Okay.
They treat them like NGO. They pump like 10 million naira equivalent every year. So they kind of look into your affairs and what you are doing. They don't have any play, they don't have any stake in the churches. Most of the people that postulate these laws, that help the government to postulate it, they are Christians.
Now,
you know, there is one thing in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 13. He said, nay, much more than, when he was talking about that, nay, much more, those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. And those members
there are no machines to forge.
No, listen.
Man is a product of history.
I know. Nobody is saying you should not build a gigantic cathedral or whatever. Well, we should build the people. That's why we call this thing body of Christ.
But you have people
Pastor
in the cathedral.
said,
You have people in the cathedral.
They are not building the people. That's why this bad belly thing came about.
No.
That's why they attack against the church from the church.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's the church now fighting the church.
Perhaps
in
it's
the
time
government.
for revolution in the church.
Well,
that is what is about to happen.
Yes. Okay, I think number one, get the definition of the church right. But I want to give us an analogy that will make us look at this issue. INEC registers the parties in this country. And we know they do all sorts within the parties. Does INEC remove those who are trustees of the party? And bring in people? It can't.
It can't.
We elect government in this country and we put them there. Have we been given the power to remove them at will?
Yes, you have been given
at
the power.
will.
In the
at will.
In the Constitution.
At will.
You have refused
now,
to exercise it.
Between Section 1 and Section 2 of that nebulous chapter, they are contradictory. And the other one says the commission goes to the court. He will just do it. That's the fear. That's the fear.
Then who supervises the church?
Freedom of association.
Because if you look at the argument of Khan from another angle, perhaps Khan is stating that the church is a state within the state.
Of course. Spectrum, you have pockets of countries. Families have religion.
Of course.
In secular countries. Even countries that don't recognize Christianity.
But the law is not saying you should not express your religion. The law is not saying you should not express your religion. The law is only saying that when it comes to issues of transparency and accountability, the state can intervene.
Edmund Obilo.
It's beyond transparency. Now, what are the roles of trustees? Trustees are the people who are if those guys don't know what you said you will do, because the Bible makes it clear, the things that are spiritual are not understood by people who are not spiritual.
Okay,
you
now,
know,
we're using.
Now let me now say something.
Let me just say something.
It's like me getting married. It's like me getting married, and the first thing I'm discussing with my wife is divorce. You know, my problem is that it's accountability. All this is about, we can self-regulate. I mean, it's about you said it. It's about accountability. It's a bit and transparency. But how do we become accountable?
But the commission, pardon me, the government itself is not accountable. The commission itself is not accountable.
Yes. So he who comes to everything.
I pay tax, and I see a government use my money to do something that I do know. You see,
can you come in now?
You see, Kwame Nkrumah said something when he was building Pan-Africanism. Is an injury to one is an injury to all. I may not have the money Oyedepo have. I may not have the money Adeboye has, but I must defend them at this. I may not have the mega churches, but I must defend them at this hour. Why? Because in every nation of the world, there are power to be. In the US, for example, we call some people the American Jews. They are the people that determine who becomes the president. In all nations of the world, you have powerhouses. You have power brokers. So the thing they are trying to do now is to wither than the power of the church, because they know there are power brokers in the church. But like I told you, the way the church has failed before is that the church has not raised up more people. The body of Christ has not raised up more people. The body of Christ has done what they call denominationalism sectors. And it has withered than the power of the church.
Perhaps the church is becoming too powerful. And
the church must be powerful.
I think so.
The church must be powerful.
The church not becoming too powerful.
You really, to tell you the truth, I think we have a big problem in this country that most of us are ignoring.
Please tell me.
This comma are small and medium enterprises. To, you know what I mean, opportunities like this. And we're arguing about the select top 10%. For everybody.
You underrate the 10%?
I'm not. They have power. They have the power.
That controls politics?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have the power to control politics.
And you can see they are making the noise.
Of course, they're going to use their position to protect themselves. It's very selfish. And that's normal. So I'm saying to you that what I'm trying to say is that you can. We believe it.
But money brings power.
That's the thing.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing. Without money.
Because the church is.
It's not just about money. It's more than money. It's the totality. Money is a percentage.
5,000 people with 2 loaves and 5 fishes. Well, how much? I don't. There's some arguments I don't like getting into. But one thing that is important to me right now is that we're looking in the wrong direction.
Okay.
What policy is going to help the people of this nation is what we should be fighting for.
A little bit part of what he's trying to point out. All of us are right. All of us have bits of these puzzles in bits, all right? So to make the nation a great nation.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, coming to see that the church is getting too powerful, we know the church must be powerful. And the church has to be powerful. Because the church is a powerhouse from the beginning.
But the more powerful the church becomes, the further we go.
That's the thing we are trying to correct now. That's the thing we are trying to correct now. You're correct. The church has failed us. And you know, this thing is like a rod to punish the church and to wither the power of the church and to make the church think that they have failed God.
The mosques too.
We have failed God. You understand? We have. The church is supposed to run like a community, whereby you raise up the. We have failed the world. There's no doubt about it. We have to correct ourselves once and for all. This is like a raw
distinction. Can I make it? When we say things like I don't have the.
More than you.
It doesn't matter.
But that's not
the issue. It's they've pulled resources to develop their institution. Make things better.
That is it.
That's what we're here for.
Yep.
To make life better
for all.
And that's are best for the nation. And that's what I'm fighting for.
That's right.
Whether you are a Muslim or you are Hare Krishna, whoever you are, this policy should be fair to you to be able to do the best you can. Because I happen to be, I met Dr. Mensa Otabil and Pastor Agu when the British government was trying to start to monitor mosques. And the idea was so simple. If they successfully monitor mosques,
they will come to church.
They will come to the church.
That's
it's going to affect. Fight becomes church fight. That's what I don't agree with. I believe we just need a good policy that protects all religions and is fair.
You know, some would even say the NGOs are becoming fraudulent. You know, everyone is. The conversation, the numbers to call 080-915-51055. You can also call 080-569-98678. Another number to call is 0710 98678 and 070-694-93000. Those are the numbers to call. Remember, you can watch us live on Splash FM fan page on Facebook. You can also leave messages for me on my Instagram page. You can tweet at me at Obilo. Are you on LinkedIn? Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, Edmund Obilo on LinkedIn. Join the conversation there. So the lines are open. Good morning.
I'm Pastor David calling.
All right, Pastor David.
I really love what the pastor is saying. Private jet and several things like that. That one make government to put their faith in the churches now. The university they are building, even their pastor children cannot go to that university. It's not interested in churches in Nigeria again. God is interested in individuals.
When did God say that?
Yes.
When did God say that?
They are said God. Most of the churches in Nigeria.
All right. Thank
they
you.
Are said God.
Thank you.
So what that man says, the short cut it. That pastor, they tell the truth.
Okay.
So Bamgbose is it.
All right, so let's let him go. Thank you. Thank you. The pro-Trump pastor is talking about conspiracy theory. You are the pro-Trump.
Definitely.
Okay. Makestos Oshinowo tweets at us. He says, "Good morning, Edmund. Ecclesiastes 3 says there is a time for everything. To intervene."
Yeah, there's a thing that, I love this interview. And, we are all saying, we are all going towards the same, making the nation a better nation, the continent a great place for us to live in. If we don't fight for the church now, we'll all lose out. The church will crash. And at the same time, we need to correct the church. We have failed God, like I said.
But why do we elect leaders? Do we elect our leaders because we feel they are not wise enough to make laws for the people? Is that what we are saying? That our senators, our House of Rep members are not knowledgeable enough to make the law in the interest of the Nigerian people?
Do you know when senators and House of Assemblies, people in the Congress come to place, everyone has his own agenda. And there are
elected them.
I know. Look at when Buhari was coming the other time. I told you by prophecy that Buhari was not going to be the Messiah of Nigeria. And it is. You have all find out. Without us becoming our brother keepers, we cannot build the industry you're talking about. Those great inventions you're talking about. Look. There are people with money, even in churches, like we're talking about. Churches have so much money now. Custodian of God's words.
Now that brings me to the point. How does the church make its money? Pastor Muyiwa Bamgbose.
I'm a bit concerned when you say make the money.
Yes.
You see, the church doesn't make money. The church is a collection of people. The word is ecclesia, the called out ones. The church is not the building. The church is the people. And honestly, for me, that is the reason for the concern.
No, the building is also the church.
the building houses the people.
You know what the church puts into building the building. And you now say after the building is the building is
but
part
you see,
of
the fact of the matter is that the people need a place to sit down. They need a place to worship.
That is why the building is part of the church. That is why when you go into the church, you humble yourself.
The building belongs to the church. The church does not belong to the building. So, the church is the people. And that's the fight. Because you cannot break into the people. You cannot divide the people. You cannot bring a new leadership on the people.
Remember, democracy is the government of the people.
Fantastic. If it was democracy. Now, I noticed that section 2 that says the commission can go to court says 20% of the members. Now, who is that membership? Do you have the record? Then does 20% have the right to stop 80%? If it is democracy, we should talk about 51%. Are you following me?
People can be steered up.
51% of documented
people can be used against the
people.
church.
When we are voting, when Lucifer went against God, he went with only 1/4 of the so heaven is still standing. So how do you, for the sake of 20%, rock the boat? But note, there's section 1. You don't even need anybody, and you can rock the boat.
Okay, let's go for a music break. But soon let's listen to Lagbaja. We'll be back.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Reverend Oluyemi Perez, founder, Achievers Rock Commission, is on Stage Network. Muyiwa Bamgbose of Divine Branch is here too. Remember him? Right, we'll talk about that as we round up. But before we go on this subject, what should the federal government do now, Pastor Madujemo?
A simple review panel. Sit down, bring everybody from each part, and then look at it again. Look at it more objectively and from the perspective of the church, the mosques, and all the other organizations that are concerned. I think it's resolvable.
How come this wasn't identified at the discussion on the bill?
Do you know we started off with the British? All our corporate affairs were the British model. And then we went into independence, and then the military took over. They came up with an act. And after that, in 1990, we finally wrote our first one. But we usually just copy and adapt, like we did with the COVID. We just copy and adapt and copy and adapt. And
are you saying we're not thorough?
yeah, we're not. Most, I mean, if you, come on, and the average Nigerian doesn't really do his homework. You know what I mean? Because of, it's what is chasing us, poverty. It's what is chasing us that causes us to always look for shortcuts. And it makes us make crazy decisions.
And we also do that when
somebody said here that poverty is not just the lack of money, it's the lack of opportunity. And so when somebody is poor, he doesn't think about a year from now, 2 years from now. He just thinks about how he's going to survive this week. And so he will take... We have issues that we need to resolve, and it's affected our civil service. And this was produced by the civil service. And in other countries in the world, first-class graduates, brilliant minds go to civil service. In Nigeria, it's when you can't get a job anywhere that you now go to civil service with your third class. So we've actually diluted, you know, the gentleman who ran UI, who set up UI to produce business. And moved because of the brilliance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now our civil service is full of not first class. You have to have a first class or 2-1 to be in the civil service, the equivalent in the US and in England. But here, after you can't get a job somewhere else, go join the civil service.
All right, Pastor Muyiwa Bamgbose, what do we do? What should the church be doing now?
Well, the Vice President said the stop the executive from also doing something. You know, I keep on suspecting that a different person wrote Section 1 from the person who wrote Section 2. You know, I keep suspecting that. Now, they can bring people together now. That document is a threw it
Saturday.
Okay, so we can now do it. So executive should do something about it. The church should do something about it.
But in this case, members of the National Assembly must be called to order. If nobody identified that at that point.
Have you watched some of the sessions on television? We don't want to say it. Some of them are so tired many times that, they are resting.
But they work with consultants. They have consultants.
A fantastic document. I look at what that thing offers to the small businesses, even to limited liability companies. Fantastic, revolutionary ideas. But that thing just came in.
Perhaps that thing that came in to break the power of religion at last.
That is it. That is it.
You see, when we look at this, we're not talking religion now.
No, we are.
I side with Pastor Madujemo.
No, we are.
We're talking about the country, about the world. Let me say this. A lot of good things are started by the church. The church is a leader. The church is to help. And when you muscle the engine for progress, the engine for development, when you muscle it, then you are bringing yourself down. Like somebody says, in Yoruba, they say, adete ule funwara, but only dawara no. Now, this is the source of the milk for the whole country. You now want to throw it out. You want to muscle it. So that's what I see.
Is the church that powerful to be able to resist this law?
Powerful. We have all power because we have Christ. Okay? So go to the assembly, I volunteer, I will join those who will go. If there's a bureaucratic process, they set up a group to review it. We have people who will go sit down and say, this doesn't fit in here. So, the church is powerful.
All right. Edmund Obilo, you said, Pastor Bamgbose said the people are tired. The people, the House of Assembly, the Congress, the Senate. But no matter how tired they are, there's an agenda in the mind of everybody who comes to the House and groups. Like, I've been in politics before. There are caucus within caucuses. There are people who determine what to do eventually. And there is an agenda behind those people who decide what to be eventually. So, like you said, there is an agenda of that clause to break in and sever the part of the church. The executive order, there's one thing we call the executive order. The president must use his executive order to remove that clause from this Kama.
Can he? He can't remove the clause.
He can do
from there.
He signed it. He should love.
Can do it.
It's the National Assembly that cannot.
The executive order. He can use the executive order to remove it.
He can go back.
He can do that would be dictatorship.
The truth about it is, in any country in the world, you don't have enough policemen or EFCC to monitor a country. It depends on how many people voluntarily want to follow the law.
All right, we just have to go. But before we go, Pastor Muyiwa Bamgbose, you conducted the CBT exam.
I was praying your time will be over.
Yes, I'm eating into the time of my other.
Well, you see, if you have been testing applicants in organizations, you will not be surprised. You'll not be surprised. Many years ago, we used to just take people. If you brought your first class or your 2-1, we just took you. But then, at the time, we started wondering whether some people really got what they had on hand. And one day, a friend of mine, I'm sure he won't mind, you can confirm from him, Professor Ebohari of UI, sent a gentleman and said, this guy is good in maths. Please employ him. And we tested this guy, and he scored 8 over 100. 8. And when I got the result from our registry, I just forwarded it to Professor Ebohari. You can confirm from him. He called me back. He said, Pastor, what happened? I said, why? He said, is there a missing digit? I said, you mean something before or something after? He said, yes. I said, no missing digit. 8 over 100. He said, are you documenting this kind of thing? I said, yes. No, we were not then. He said, please begin to document. Job, will you take a test? It's the best thing. Will you take a test? Once you take a test, if you are good enough, well, if we don't have, we apologize.
Now, what was the test like for those who want to be teachers?
Good. I've had all kinds of complaints. Now, in the 50 questions, we had 8 questions for math. For English language. All right? That's different from the English for English teachers. All right? The English, general English. Then we have 4 questions for math. I've heard stories of people saying all the questions were math. We had 8 aptitude questions, thinking questions. Now, out of the 8 thinking questions, some of them may look like maths. If I say 8 people come into a room and there are 4 seats, how many?
Maths, because there is 4 and there is 8.
But we don't want you to become a teacher and become a problem, because so there's one math that you really sit down to calculate. So then we have 8 questions on pedagogy. How do you teach? Okay, how do you control the class? Then you get to 20 questions. Your English must be good. You're planning sense, because
can't we use Yoruba? Must
exactly.
we? What is this English?
I think that's where the fundamental
because it's becoming a problem.
Yeah,
Let's speak our language.
Well, for now,
We're
for
the
now,
continent that teaches people in another language.
Because you see, I made the point.
If you read the
you
report,
have to first learn English.
I have read the report of Fafunwa, the Ife. Of education. Okay, even that experiment was done to primary 6. Okay, you need that understanding. And once a child gets the understanding, unfortunately, we don't have certain things in Yoruba language. You cannot tell me you cannot even say square.
We create it.
To square. Yeah, we should have
software.
If we don't have it, and we now begin to say we want to do education in Yoruba, or beyond primary 3 or beyond primary 6.
We create those
we are creating problems.
Even the Yoruba words we use today, we are created by some people.
Yeah. We start from scratch. We say anybody entering school now must have a choice.
Going to do their WAEC in English. Okay, so what are we saying?
Yeah, but
and it's only 8 questions out of 50.
How many percent passed the exam?
A little over 8%.
So about 92% failed the exam.
Yeah, that's what it means.
I would say 92%
failed the exam, and they wanted.
I won't say they failed. I won't say they failed.
They didn't pass.
They didn't get 50%.
So what is the pass mark?
I don't know.
So you leave that for Shema today?
TESCOM will come up with a model. Actually, the performance varied. There are subjects in which they did very well.
Okay.
I was surprised. French, fantastic.
Really?
Maybe because we don't understand French.
They didn't do well in English.
Maybe because it was French. You didn't do well in English.
But you see, there are areas of need that they may need to go down.
But what does this say about the education system?
Well, it's saying the obvious. The education system has been... when people say it's bad, it's for want of
it's an understatement.
Thing. The educational system is worrisome. It's worrisome. Both the system, the design, the curriculum, the objective, almost everything is wrong.
So we have the data from that exam, and that tells us there's problem.
Yeah,
there's plenty of problems.
And I hope they will take that data seriously.
I hope so too.
Well, but
in addition,
we also going to sit down and wait for the government to fix this. We have to all come together.
Like I said, to everyone who sat for the exam and didn't do well, they should take it as something that is a signal for them to go do something about themselves.
What about understanding of the computer, how it works?
I was in the hall. I can't tell you, people putting their mouths in the air and trying to make it to move.
That says there's a problem. That tells us there's a huge problem. And most of them were graduates?
No, well, most of them, I believe, maybe some NCE people, but
NCE is a graduate.
Yeah.
On a good day,
all of them. And I'll tell you something again that was also worrying. They didn't listen to instructions. They didn't follow instructions.
Problem,
even if you don't know, sometimes if you yourself, don't damage the kids that are coming back.
All right. Wow, Pastor Muyiwa Bamgbose, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you very much, a pleasure being here.
Thank you. He's of the Divine Branch. And
Vine Branch.
Vine Branch.
Before Kama.
Vine Branch.
Comes and appoint receivers, right?
And you also know he's part of the Educational Advancement Center.
Oh my goodness.
And Pastor Francis Madujemo, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Pastor Madujemo is of the Bridge Network. Reverend Oluyemi Perez, happy to see you again.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your coming here. He's the founder, Achievers Rock Commission. After this break, I'll be discussing with Sam Woko. I will be discussing with Wale Aino. We'll be looking at the newspapers and defining the issues in the news.
Splash FM 105.5.
Do you need a school with highly qualified and experienced teachers? Is the school for you? We offer crèche, nursery, primary, college, and A-level classes. St. Catherine Schools is a government-approved day and boarding school with a vision of comprehensive education. St. Catherine Schools is equipped with modern science, computer, and home economics laboratory with state-of-the-art music and art studio. Entrance examination state. For more inquiries, please call 0909 0909 979. Again, 0909 0909 979 or visit www.stcatherineschools.com.ng. St. Catherine Schools, perfection through excellence.
Children, they enjoy all the attention. They get all the free kisses. Kisses that we have to beg for. And if that's not enough, they think Peak Chocolate is for them alone. Well, they are wrong.
That's right. With Peak Chocolate, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or a grown-up. Have a cup today and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolatey goodness. Now available in 400-gram family pack. Peak.
Wait, boy, you mean this one? What of that brother Shaggy News Kitty? Where the circulate WhatsApp? Oh, this one. What of that meme? Where the guy?
When mouth open like this, bar.
Mr. Noito, which data you they use know all these things?
Now, Glow new data plans get me. Are you serious? With just 50 naira, and they get 50 MB. And with just 100 naira, and they get 150 MB. We have to use chat or browse on top Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and even Snapchat. Don't dull yourself, oh. Dial star 777 hash now. Make you begin the browse they go.
Glow Unlimited.
From politics to economy, sports, humanity, and other burning issues in Nigeria and across the world. Nigeria's national dailies as they highlight various issues happening in the country. Every Sunday, as she takes us through the editorials for the week. It promises to be analytical, incisive, and informative. Join us.
Breakfast your day every day with the nourishment of malt, milk, and cocoa and the delicious taste of Milo.
Do you need a fully furnished, nice and comfortable hostel accommodation in University of Ibadan? Or a place Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. (0805-699-8720). Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
My name na Efe, but my friends they call me Phil. Every time I play, na so I dey lose like play. But as I begin play 1xBet, na so my level change. Now my friends they call me Efrebo. 1xBet, you go win sotey you go tire. Go for 1xBet.ng for more tori.
Splash FM 105.5.
Don't dare touch that dial. It's Splash 105.5 FM, your integrity station.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Okay, I have a letter here. Or unnatural death of Richard Gbadebo within the premises of her at about 27th or 28th July 2020. The letter is addressed to the Chief Magistrate Admin, Court 1, Ibadan Magisterial District, Iyagokun Ibadan, Oyo State. The date on the letter is 3rd September 2020. Looking at this letter, you would find that the first paragraph reads at about 7 a.m. on the violent death of their son. Global Industries Limited, located at Plot 9, Oluyemi Industrial Estate, Ibadan. The letter says that up to the moment, the circumstances leading to the death of Richard Gbadebo remain a mystery. The lawyers are saying that the company owners have not rendered any explanation. The lawyers suspect, or it was suspected, for the CCTV footage when precisely it happened. What going through this letter, attacked, violent, you see, questions are now coming up. The lawyers are asking, was Richard mischieviously captured and thrown into the machine? The lawyer Now, what are the lawyers calling for? Why the letter to the magistrate? It reads, pursuant to the Corona Laws, Section 3, Subsection 1, which vests jurisdiction in any magistrate within the jurisdiction where the violent death occurred to hold inquest, and Section 4 of the same law that brings violent or unnatural death whose cause is unknown within the circumstances requiring an inquest, we humbly request your worship on behalf of the grieving family of Richard Gbadebo, the deceased Richard Gbadebo, whose blood is crying to high heavens for justice, and the society whose norms and values have been desecrated, to use your worship's good offices to cause a coroner's inquest to be conducted into the cause of the violent and unnatural death of Richard Gbadebo. This letter is from Abub Chambers, signed by Femi Aborishade Esquire, Managing Partner. Address to the Chief Magistrate Court 1, Ibadan Magisterial District. It's about Richard Gbadebo. Now, this question of companies and the people that I took this same matter up. It had to do with the British American tobacco at a point. So let's go to 2000.
Before I was employed into the system. Duty I stand for 12 hours at night.
What kind of machine did you operate?
I operate a cigarette packing machine that requires me to be carrying a lot of heavy loads above 20 kg, like overwrap. As a distance, you have to go on a routine movement here and there, at the back, at the front, at the side. You need to load materials like blank. You need to load foil. You need to load inner frame. You need to load overwrap. You need to load cellophane. Only you. Initially, when we entered the place, there were about 2 operators. Hours only me. I load blank. I load material myself.
I load it yourself.
I load material myself.
How do you load it? Do you carry it with your hand?
You bend down and load materials. You lift heavy materials, like foil, like cellophane, like overwrap, which is above 20 kg. Then you need to go as far as using a pallet truck to pull your blank very close to you. Nothing. So this is where my problem started. I cannot lift my arm. I cannot breathe very well again.
Some of you are ready to go the length to make BAT come to terms with your medical condition.
Yes, of course, because I'm rendered useless. Sexually, I'm down.
Are you impotent?
I'm impotent now because of my cervical spondylosis and my heart is not working well.
Oh,
I have a blockage in the heart. I have left ventricular hypertrophy.
Did you say
there is cardiomegaly and there is this coronary tract infection in my heart. I have left ventricular hypertrophy.
All in one.
When I inquire from the doctor from a federal government hospital, it's not because I was unable to use it. That's why it keeps on reducing. I don't know when I will die now because there is an expert working on my heart. Because that's why I'm pleading with the good people of Nigeria, the NGOs, the human rights activists to come to my aid and save me from Rich America Tobacco, my ex-employer.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Dada? Is he dead now? Is he alive? Don't worry, I'll find him. Wole, I know it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Good morning, Mr. Obilo, and good morning, listeners at home.
When you hear
insensitivity of our local investors, if we have local investors and they are thriving, all these transnational companies, according to Dr. Bala Usman, he called them transnational companies, will not be engaging our people as slaves in factories. There's nowhere in the world where one person will be operating a machine for 12 hours, except in Nigeria.
Samuwoko, such stories like that, what do they do to journalism?
Good morning, Edmund. Good morning, listeners at home. They tell the kind of situation we found ourselves as a country, and even as in laws which govern such operations, and then as individuals, poverty has led people to remain in very awkward positions, because I heard him say he was there for nearly 13 years. If you had worked there for a year, two, and it tells a lot. It's telling. It's very, very disheartening that such things are happening. It's very. We live with it.
Samuwoko is of the Tribune newspaper. Have you seen the Tribune this morning? PNID versus Nigeria. $1,000 bribe to write legal advice. Lawyer who got $2 million legal fees asked Nigeria to surrender. Court grants Nigeria's prayer to challenge award. On Samuwoko's newspaper, that is the Tribune, that's where he works. Nollywood actor Gitman heard over murder of co-tenant in Delta. Northern groups demand immediate reversal of fuel, electricity.
Extreme caution. It's information.
This message is being recorded at a
more music.
Baby, you took my heart. Make it take us from my.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
Hi,
It's Maura and Rob, BBC Minute.
The UK first, where Extinction Rebellion has blockaded major newspaper presses. Accuse them of failing to report on the climate emergency.
Australia's anti-lockdown protests have spread to Sydney. Videos show hundreds of protesters gathering there. President Trump says he's seen no proof Alexei Navalny was poisoned with a nerve agent known to have been used by Russia, but he says he'll look into what happened to the Russian opposition leader, who's in a coma.
A black man in the US who spent more than 20 years in jail accused of murdering 4 people has had the charges against him dropped. Curtis Flowers was tried 6 times for the alleged crimes by the same white prosecutor.
And the US academic who confessed to lying about being black will not teach classes this semester.
George Washington University says Jessica Krug's case is being investigated.
0829G.
BBC Minutes.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
Splash FM 105.5.
Admission. St. Anne's Comprehensive College, a co-educational Christian institution, announces admission into JSS1, JSS2, SSS1, and SSS2 for the 2020-2021 academic session. Admission form can be obtained at the college, St. Anne's Comprehensive College, Odeku, Ibadan, or the administrative block of St. Anne's Church, Molete, Ibadan. Entrance examination into all the classes holds every Wednesday in September at 9 a.m. in the college or at the convenience of the applicant. For further inquiries, contact the principal on 0802 887 2196. Again, 0802 887 2196.
Countdown 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get the box. Feel the music. On your ready. Splash, the height of entertainment.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo.
Personally, so we look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you too. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, good night.
Okay.
Mr. Governor, you talked about Amotekun coming up soon to stamp this out.
Yeah.
Will Amotekun be reliable at the end of the day?
Yes, they will be reliable. And some of the misconception about Amotekun, especially, outside of the Southwest, have been addressed. We've given them their takeoff grant, and yes, it took some time to get the legal framework, but now we've crossed that hurdle, and they are now going through the recruitment phase. And I believe it will make a whole lot of difference. Of course, the federal security agencies are also, being strengthened and supported in the state. Amotekun will complement in the area of intelligence gathering and also securing our communities.
Will they bear arms?
They will, yeah. They will.
So what are you saying to farmers around Lanlate, farmers in Isen? Are you promising them tight security to go about their businesses?
Yes. They will see it shortly. I mean, talk is cheap. So they will see action, and they will also see that there are people they can call on. And our approach is, it is better to actually stop criminality, in its track before they're able to strike. And that is where we're going to deploy a lot of resources, and where we are going to have our focus on.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Yes, Mr. Wole, I saw you nodding your head while Sheyi Makinde was talking about Amotekun. That interview was in August 2020. Why were you nodding your head?
The area where the Excellency mentioned that they would bear arms was so interesting, and for the fact that even the Constitution enables a citizen to bear arms for self-defense. So what is wrong in a security architecture bearing arms? So the process from elsewhere that Amatekun should not bear arms, I think because we have patriotic governors in Yoruba land, that's why they are trying to get an architecture to defend us. Is a commendable thing.
And there is a rise in Yoruba nationalism. You tend to, this Yoruba nationalism is rising by the day. What is going on?
No, essentially, a philosopher pointed out that there are two major things simultaneously going on in the world: globalization of technology and individuation of nations. Every nation wants to have, as much as possible, maximum autonomy to plan their future. To religionists and people who are closer to God, we judge individuals and nations. So if you don't have ability to behave independently, you cannot be judged correct. So the forces of individuation of nations, even in Scotland, ways, all over Europe, what we call nations or ethnic group in West Africa, they are already independent nations in Europe. Finland, all these Scandinavian countries.
But we have them in Africa too. Small countries like Gabon, Eritrea, they are in Africa too.
There will be more.
That means we'll break Africa into more than 200 countries.
And that will bring rapid development, because our amalgamation, let's take amalgamation of Nigeria, make the Fulanis in Nigeria are more friendly and loyal to Fulani in Niger. Yorubas in Nigeria are closer and sympathetic to activities of Yorubas in Cotonou. So why do you, and as it being these people are nation state, they will be developing language, culture together, and rapid development will have been ensured. But because of the amalgamation, everybody is now, you want to create something new, apart from what God has created. The purpose of amalgamation is to create a nation new, apart from what God, and it has taken not wasted manpower and resources.
Are you saying Nigeria is wasted?
It's a question, the Civil War, how many lives were
America fought a civil war.
But in the end of their own civil war,
China fought many civil wars.
At the end of the American Civil War, they came out with a policy that has enabled them rapid development.
We came out with a policy.
The struggle for independence in Nigeria, for example, the people that championed struggle for independence were not the one that got benefit of independence.
Oh.
So the people that said they are not ready for independence are the one in power dictating the pace.
Nnamdi Azikiwe was the president. Let's look at what the Punch is saying on its front page. Fuel price hike. TUC said condemn new pricing regime. That brings me to Sam Nwoko's column. He wrote an article recently, weighing Buhari on his own scale. And this article was published by the Nigerian Tribune on Saturday, 5th September 2020. So if you get the Tribune today, you will read Sam Nwoko's column there. There have been arguments back and forth on who the whalers really are as of this day and time. We all now buy more expensive food. We pay more for electricity, higher taxes, and now petroleum products. A light-hearted opinion is that every Nigerian is now a whaler, silent or otherwise. We are in one hell of a ride. Sam Nwoko.
Yes, sir.
One hell of a ride.
Indeed. I am sure so very many people know that what we had in mind pre-2015 is not what we have in mind now, post-2015. So the ride is bumpy, the ride is rough, the ride is it's not funny. I don't think we are enjoying it. So it's one hell of a ride.
Are we not enjoying this ride?
You may be enjoying it. I am not enjoying it. I'm wearing shoes. I know where it pinches, or where they pinch. I know very well that so very many people agree with me that things are not what they are supposed to be in so very many spheres, the economy, security, and so on. That is why 79 groups, including the TUC, even Northern groups, everybody came out to say, look, reverse some of these things. And that tells you, because it's very, very unusual for Northern groups to kick against, to rise against decisions taken by a Northern leader.
Have they risen? Have they risen?
Well, they've spoken. It's unusual. We never heard it. You know, it's unusual. It was even a coalition of groups. They came together and said, look, reverse the increment in fuel prices and the electricity. Because these things, you know, fuel is available, yes, but is it affordable? No.
But you see, when you say reverse it, you are saying government owns the business. You know, IBEDC is a private organization. So when you say government reverse it, are you saying government owns the business?
Fine. The policies which led to the actions of IBEDC and Co. are government policies. So these are the policies, these are the things that should be looked at. You see, some of those things are not, we are not, okay, people pay for electricity. I pay for electricity and I get estimated bill. When I had the opportunity to enjoy more electricity, because the idea is we are going to charge people who get 12 hours and above more. Now, how does it affect people who do not have electricity for 12 hours and below? That, on analysis, will tell us that those people who pay more will charge more or less. If it's a barber that cuts your hair, or somebody, a welder that fixes certain things, he will charge you more. So it comes back to you. But that is by the way. Now, to your question, you said if government is the one handling all these things, government has the policy base. You know, the distribution companies are what they are, distribution companies. How much do they buy from generating companies, which are still in the hands of government? So if they buy at a high cost, they will sell, now wait till I buy, I go sell kind of thing. So the government has a very huge role to play on this. And again, if there had been foundational issues settled, we will not be going back and forth on this same issue.
It simply means now the price where I take buy, now I go determine the price where I go take sell.
Yeah.
In that case, since IBDC has increased tariff, I will raise my VAT cost too to balance up.
Yeah.
And everything is rising.
Yeah.
Inflation.
Yes.
The market woman will raise her price too.
And remember that the pickup van that will bring the firewood to Ibadan would ordinarily have said, 50 naira low new. Now, because of the hike in the price of fuel, you say it's now 100 naira. And the woman who had planned to sell her firewood for 200 naira or 20 naira will now add something to make up for the extra she had paid for transportation.
So prices will rise.
Prices will rise. Now, the funniest thing is that doesn't seem the president has a vision and direction on economic policy.
No, we have seen documents stating the vision of this administration.
It's not working. You plan to employ 774,000 cleaners or artisans and so on. As you are doing it, you are yet to start that. You have increased the general inflation and poverty on the people.
He did not increase it.
No.
The marketers did.
Excuse me.
You have deregulated.
No, you are not deregulating. The question is this. I say an adage. They say, eat this thing, you say it's bones. Throw it away, you say this fish is still, meat is still there. You are making half-hearted measure on privatization. For example, on electricity since 1953, Awolowo went to court that this will allow Western region to generate their own electricity. Because it said, no, they will be fed, central power will be generating electricity. Do they have enough now? Once you don't have enough to generate and you still want to control it, there is the need for total liberalization of electricity generation and distribution.
We are getting
return
there.
Electricity to the regions.
That means you need to amend the constitution.
The constitution return generation of electricity to the region. If Yoruba want electricity, let them generate. Those who want solar system, let them do it. Do that quick. The sovereignty of the masses is enormous. This is wicked economic policy, increasing prices on and tariff at this time.
At this time? What is wrong with this time?
What is wrong with this time? There is in town. The payment of pensions and gratuity, only few institutions are coping with it. So this time around, the hardship in town is enormous. Federal government increase in fuel pump price of fuel and electricity. We had sort to injury.
All right. You want to read Sam Nwoko's column? You need to go check the Tribune. But if you go on his page on Facebook, you'll find it there. Weighing Buhari on his own scale. What did Sam Nwoko say here? I want to look at the last line. He says, some have laughed that we could be on the part said to have been worked by the Irish. England during its occupation of Ireland was said to have imposed taxes based on the number of windows the Irish had in their houses. The windows allowed sunlight into their homes, and the Irish were made to pay tax for windows. The Irish called it daylight robbery. I see. Is that where it came from?
We learned that's where it came from. So there is daylight robbery, and it has a basis.
We'll be back after this break. Don't go away.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Wake up, nothing can hold us down. Get up, born to wear the crown.
Breakfast your day every day with the nourishment of malt, milk, and cocoa, and the delicious taste of Milo.
Nestle, good food, good life.
My name na Efe, but my friends they call me Phil. Every time I play, na so I dey lose like play. But as I begin play 1xBet, na so my level change. Now my friends they call me Efrebo. 1xBet, you go win so you go tire. Go for 1xbet.ng for more tori.
ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó gbámúṣé pẹ̀lú ọgbọ́n àkọ́ni tó tẹ̀wọ̀n àti ohun èlò amẹ́kọ̀ọ́yéni tó sunwọ̀n tí akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ fi lóye kíkún nímọ̀ tó wọ̀yàmì APS tutorial classes lónìí yẹn gbogbo akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó ṣetán láti gba ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó yanrantí tẹ́sí ṣàṣeyege nínú ìdánwò post UTME WAEC NECO àti SSCE ẹ̀mọ́ náà wé ìdààmú sọ́pọ̀lọ́ APS tutorial classes kájú ẹ̀ àwọn olùkọ́ wọn dángájíá bẹ́ẹ̀ làyíká wọn dáa fàgbọ́yé ẹ̀kọ́ owó morning and evening classes wọn ògún pa ẹ̀yin òbí àtàlágbàtọ́ tẹ̀fẹ́ kọ́ mọ yín fìdí rẹmi nínú ìdánwò post UTME APS tutorial classes ní ẹ̀kan sí lágbègbè yín Ìbàdàn lẹ́bàá mobil petrol station UI limi building challenge ọ̀làwọlé shopping complex mọ́nàtán Awólọ́wọ̀ junction Bódìjà olùsọ̀tẹ̀ bookshop òkè bọ́là àdójúkọ Zenith bank Ìwó road beside masak petrol station oríta apẹ̀rin ODBC terminus celebo stop Old Ife road pẹ̀lú East Grace plaza ẹlẹ́yẹlé Ìbàdàn 08106156116 tàbí 00508549922 Mr. Apes ní kẹfọwọ́ kẹ̀dáàbò bùrà yín.
Children, they enjoy all the attention. They get all the free kisses. Kisses that we have to beg for. And if that's not enough, they think Peak Chocolate is for them alone. Well, they are wrong.
That's right. With Peak Chocolate, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or a grown-up. Have a cup today and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolatey goodness. Now available in 400-gram family pack.
Peak. Reach for your peak.
Hello? Network yóò mà dáa. Jẹ́ ń gbógi lọ kí n lè gbọ́ dáadáa o.
Misu, mọ̀hán rẹ̀ lé mọ̀ lọ́rẹ̀ fọ̀rùn kọ́ gímbẹ̀hùn ọ̀dà ǹgbà kó sì mọ̀ lẹ́nu ilé ìkọ́ ọmọ bó ṣe wà sí.
Èyí mà tún ga kẹ́ wo bí gbogbo nẹ́tíwọ̀kì ṣe dúró wá kéèké.
Xiaomi smartphone ló kù báyìí táyé ń ta sí ìwọ kan gbọ́sẹ̀ wò kó rí bó ṣe dúró tán. Gbogbo kùgbù ayé ló pè sórí ẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sáwọn fóònù ṣàwòrò dẹ. Design ẹ̀ mú yẹ̀sì gbà. Ìyálàyà kámẹ́rà tó mọ́lẹ̀ kedere bí ojú ọmọ tuntun. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni DJ battery life gigram àti internal memory ẹ̀ lọ bí ọlọ́run. Pápá ló ń ṣáàjì láì ní wàhálà. Gbogbo àwọn tó ti yáyí Xiaomi phones ló ń ṣàwùdásọ́lọ́hún lóríṣiríṣi ní Xiaomi smartphones Redmi Note 9 Pro, Redmi 9A, Redmi 9C, Redmi 9 àti Redmi Note 9. Xiaomi smartphone ó ní screen protector àti calibration tó ṣe dáadáa. Gbogbo ilé ìtajà tó ń ta ojúlówó ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́tí lè rí pẹ̀lú owó péréte tí ọ̀gá nílára pé Xiaomi smartphone ẹgbẹ́ pàlà ṣàṣọnù kẹ̀jẹ̀ kúgbú ayé. Xiaomi, innovation for everyone.
Children, they enjoy all the attention. They get all the free kisses. Kisses that we have to beg for. And if that's not enough, they think Peak Chocolate is for them alone. Well, they are wrong.
That's right. With Peak Chocolate, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or a grown-up. Have a cup today and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolatey goodness. Now available in 400-gram family pack.
Peak. Reach for your peak.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Yes, I want to take you to Osun State. Then we'll come back and round off with the newspaper. Yes, Osun State is still celebrating Osun at 29. So in August, the government organized an event. Let me walk you into that event. It is a delight to welcome you to this event, an event marking the 29th year of the creation of the state of Osun. It is a summit on unbundling Osun potentials towards prosperity in agriculture, tourism, and mining. In celebrating the journey so far, the need to safeguard the future becomes urgent. In line with the mission of our host, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, to make Osun State the destination of choice, this gathering will benefit from lectures on economic advantages and prospects in agriculture, tourism, and mining in the state of Osun. What is this event about? It is about unleashing the economic potentials of the state. I am Edmund Obilo. Let me call on His Excellency, the Governor of the state of Osun, Adegboyega Oyetola, to welcome us to this event.
As a responsible government which inherited a fragile economy and COVID-19 dilemma was not given, this virtual lecture is therefore a creative and proactive response to achieving the objective of the Economic and Investment Summit, which we floated in November last year as our solution to lifting the state of economy's woes and making it an economic hub of the Southwest. The theme of this virtual lecture, unbounding Osun potential towards prosperity in agriculture, tourism, and mining, is apt and timely at this period when petrodollar is declining, monthly allocation is progressively tumbling, and economic activities are diminishing. It is also opposite that the lecture is coming at a time when diversification of the economy remains the obvious road to economic recovery and prosperity. As an administration, we believe that our state has all it takes to prosper and that the greatest potentials of the state of Osun are its people and the resources that lie under its soil. At a perilous time like this, there's a need to look inward to tap on our strengths and potential in agriculture, tourism, and mining, which without doubt are areas of comparative advantage. Let me assure the good people of the state of Osun that we are resolved to reclaim mixed opportunities and set their state on the path of sustainable prosperity and development. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the state of Osun. God bless you all.
The governor has set the ball rolling. He talked about creating opportunities. He talks about making the state of Osun an economic powerhouse in Nigeria. The governor also talks about sustainable prosperity, and he calls for partnership. And I would like to ask Mr. Governor how he has been able to take care of the situation in the state of Osun with regard to making sure that the people have enough food to eat. Mr. Governor, how have you been able to cope with the situation?
Well, thank you very much. The COVID-19 pandemic came as a surprise to the entire world, so you have to be creative and start to think about new normal. And you've listened to what the Commissioner of Agriculture said. We're doing a lot in that direction to harness the support of the CBN in terms of intervention in all aspects of agriculture. So we've been, with the land bank, we've been able to ensure that land is available for people that are willing to really invest in agriculture. We do some kind of support in terms of land preparation, land clearing, and get them more seedling that will give more output in terms of yield. The pandemic is a challenge, but with all those things, we're not forgetting the issue of the peasant farmers. When we're looking at big players, we still encourage the peasant farmers to still do more and at least ensure that we have sufficient food for people to eat, while still looking at the big players, commercial farming, for instance. So those are the areas we've been able to ensure that at least we have sufficient food for people, even if we cannot export more, but we are at least able to ensure that people have access to.
Yeah, Mr. Governor, the commissioner also talked about the setting up of a new farm settlement. How far would that settlement go in taking a lot of young persons off the street and providing job for them?
Well, in the first instance, part of what I have in mind, even when I was doing my campaign, is to set up additional farm settlements while not neglecting the existing ones. The intention is to ensure that people have access to land. The aims of land settlement is to create opportunities for people to move in, provide some level of amenities like water, road, clinic, and things like that to make people want to stay on the farm. So we're moving and we're creating more, like you mentioned. We succeeded in getting some lands available from Ife, quite a sizable parcel of land. So we're creating that. We'll ensure that we have the necessary amenities to make people want to stay, particularly young ones. If we get to a level that even have internet in the farm settlement, people want to stay there. You can guarantee electricity, in terms of either applying solar, to ensure that at any point in time, whatever is available in the cities, reasonably available, in the farm settlement, then it can be too sure that that will go a long way to ensure that our youth are encouraged to want to come into, stay on the farm. We're doing all of this to ensure that we open up a lot of spaces. Particularly, we're using the RAM, Rural Access Mobility Program, to open up our farm lands to ensure that farmers have opportunity to move their products to the cities. So these are some of the things we put in place to ensure that we open up for more people being involved in agriculture, particularly the youth. Agriculture is actually profitable if it is properly handled. And there's a lot of incentives from the federal government, from the state government. We're not forcing them to insist on whatever, but at least I've mandated them to at least think about 1,000 hectares per local government for cultivation to a lot of these products. And I want to tell you, one of our local governments, Oluyemi, for instance, is doing pretty well in agriculture. And that's a pilot scheme that we're encouraging other local government to key in. If you're able to do that, can be too sure we increase our outputs in terms of agriculture in our states. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. At this point, let me remind us that we are marking the 29th year of the creation of the state of Osun, and this summit is about unbundling Osun potentials towards prosperity in agriculture, tourism, and mining. Yes, I must say that the Honorable Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Honorable Adebisi Obawale, has gone the length to show the potentials inherent in the culture of the people of Osun. Mr. Commissioner, I hope we can have access to those documents. From what you have said, I think all road leads to the state of Osun, From what the commissioner has said, it is clear the governor has set in motion a program of tourism development. And if this program is followed judiciously, I see the millions rolling in. Therefore, I say that from the presentation of the commissioner, the culture and the heritages of Yoruba civilization has been reenacted. What we have seen from that presentation is a symbol of the ascendancy of the cultural heritages of the state of Osun. So in this case, it's not about contested modernity. It is about showing how it impacts on the economy. And Mr. Governor, from what the commissioner has reeled out, it is clear to us that Osun is in billions of dollars. Is that what you see?
Yeah. You remember that sometimes in November last year, we had to have an economic summit because we don't want people to see our state as purely a civil service state. So we try to diversify the economy into agriculture, mining, and tourism, because that's the way to go. And I'm particularly happy at the presentation by my commissioners, both the Agri Commissioner and the Culture and Tourism. That's to let you know that we have people that are capable, taking care of all these ministries. I see a lot of opportunities in culture and tourism. I had the privilege of going to a few places in the past before I became the governor of the state, even before I became the chief of staff. I took my family to Barbados and we were spending dollars to look at some of the things that are readily available here. And I look at it that with what I've seen, some countries depend entirely on tourism to sustain their economy. So with what we have what you have here that are natural, Ayankunuba and a lot of places. I believe that tourism is a good source of revenue for our state. But we need to do a number of development. We need to partner with the people. I'm positive. I'm very optimistic that that's an area that will give us a lot of revenue in developing our state.
And one area that got me so interested when the commissioner made his presentation is the question of a cultural policy, how to use culture to reenact our value system. That got me. How did the governor come about this idea?
Well, first of all, you and I know that we've actually not been taking care of our culture. And our culture has been so westernized, and that's not good enough for us. We should be proud of what we have. So all the innovations that are on the table now is to really reawaken our people to appreciate that we have a culture that is very rich. When you go to Brazil or Cuba, you go there to look at their culture. So our culture is very, very rich. So Ile-Ife seems to be the cradle of the Yoruba race. So if you develop a museum there, people will be, struggling to come there to look at what is Ile-Ife, that is the cradle of the Yoruba race. So these are things that you need to bring back so that our children will appreciate that the Yoruba race, the Nigerian, has very rich culture. And we should preserve it for the future so that we don't start to look at culture from the perspective of what obtains in Europe or in America. So conscious effort at ensuring that our people appreciate that our culture is very rich and we should be proud of it. And that's the essence of what we're trying to put together.
Thank you, Mr. Governor.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Yes, that was a summit that I moderated with the governor of the state of Osun, part of it, and I engaged the governor on different subjects on how Osun can stop being a civil service state. We also talked about culture. Remember that Wole Aino is of Ataishi. Ataishi fights for the protection of Yoruba cultural heritages. What do you think about what the governor said in that summit?
It's a commendable effort of the Excellency Governor Oyetola that we need to rejuvenate our cultural heritage and so on. But and he mentioned museum in Ife. The museum should be all-encompassing. A short-term training for Yorubas in diaspora can also be included in such a program. So 1 week training for Yorubas in diaspora in language and culture. So these are some of the things that will ensure that people keep on. So there's nothing wrong as for Yoruba to take Ife as their own Mecca, so to say. They come once in a year from Brazil, Cuba, and so on. So, and we pray that the governors will back off his words with actions concerning a museum of international standard in Ife.
And Samuel, let's look at this. Is tourism capable of helping the system? We seem to be so reliant on very few products. Are we not creative enough to open up our economy? Is the governor of Osun State making the right point?
Yes, I agree with him if he will follow the talk with action. Tourism is so huge that sometimes we tend to forget what so many countries are gaining from what we may look at as mere tourism. Tourism is a total package of so very many things. Transportation, hotels, travel sites, and so on. If we have a vibrant tourism industry, our transportation industry, land transportation will be good. Air transportation will be good. Hotels will thrive. Our sites and so many other connecting businesses. It's like a spiral. It will touch everywhere.
And security will have to be beefed up.
Security will be beefed up, and when security is beefed up, more people will come in. And when more people come in, more sales, more trade, and more interactions, and we open up so very many.
Sometimes I get worried why states like Osun are poor. Why Oyo is a civil service state? I don't understand.
We go by their laws. The English, they are not good. In the local languages, they are not good. So they are neither here nor there. So we are tied to the apron strings of what our colonialists had stuffed us with. I wish people like Governor Oyetola would begin to, and Governor Seyi Makinde too, and all the other governors will begin to win Nigerians of some of those things, and we begin to change the narrative from those things we are used to, and begin to wash ourselves off those things and learn to live our own lives, our own way, create policies that are meant for us, discard all the old laws we are trying to rejuvenate and regurgitate, and make new laws that are practical and that are tailored to the current needs of the country.
I have gone to the top of Makbo. In fact, I'm working on a documentary on Makbo and the old monuments around Makbo. What inspired me? The first time I stood, I had to stand on that Makbo. Let me view, as if I want to fly. And I saw beauty. Those brown roofs they are beautiful.
I interacted with a priest. He's an elderly priest of the Catholic Church. When he arrived in Nigeria when he was less than 30 years old. And then he's over 80 now, the priest, and he's still living here in Ibadan. He said when he arrived in Ibadan, the seat of government was Makbo. So he would go to Makbo and he will see so very many people, so much beauty that he didn't see from in Ireland where he came from. So he kept wondering what Nigerians were doing, buying food and so on. You could grow everything that you need. You could make the best of all the things that are there. He never believed in all those things. And the man, each time he talks about, he still wonders why Nigerians are where we are, given all the potential that we have.
Now, the Fourth Republic gave us insight about the path of development that is attainable to African countries. They made effort to generate electricity and all the structures, farm settlement, commodity marketing board, cooperative producers association that gave rose to become a bank. So the both the private sector and public sector were going pari passu without anyone disturbing the other. But since 1966 military coup, the reversion in Yoruba land in particular. So essentially, we need to go back to the drawing board. Leland, why was it not producing Land Rover? Alojmaja Brewery, all these factories that died in Western region, it was as a result of federal government negative policy. So
obviously you are calling for a regional system. A
regional system that will take care. The governors in Yoruba land must rise up, not only Amatekun, commodity marketing board. There are many other areas. You must, if the central government refuse to devolve power, the government in federating union must take it.
All right. We'll be back after this break.
So you don't wait for your power to be given to you. So
you take it.
You take it.
Sure, whatever like you.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
My name na Ife, but my friends they call me Phil. Every time I play, na so they lose like play. But as I begin play 1xBet, na so my level change. Now my friends they call me Efrebo. 1xBet, you go win so you go tire. Go for 1xbet.ng for more tori.
It's here once again. Foodco Festival of Savings is back. With incredible rock-bottom prizes on your favorite items. Free meal voucher. Wow, for 10,000 Naira shopping and above. Check out our amazing prizes. Malta Guinness can 33cl pack of 6 for 785 Naira. Non-chicken seasoning cube pack of 40 for 500 Naira. Golden Moon 450 gram for 640 Naira. Everwater 50cl pack of 12 for 640 Naira. Honeywell macaroni Cavito 500 gram for 175 Naira. So, what are you waiting for? Start shopping. Take advantage of Foodco Festival of Savings and enjoy a fiesta of low prices on your favorite drinks, groceries, and spices in all our stores. Promo runs from 27th August to September 6, 2020. Foodco Festival of Savings offers valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
Breakfast your day every day with the nourishment of malt, milk, and cocoa, and the delicious taste of Milo.
Nestle, good food, good life.
Don't dare touch that dial. It's Splash 105.5 FM, your integrity station.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo is live.
Emmanuel Daniel is on Facebook. He says, good morning. It's unbelievable that the same 1,000 naira worth of electricity that gives about 38. Okay, let me not, I don't know where you got your figures from, but Emmanuel Daniel, thank you. Oladele Dewu Joseph says, Karma is obviously predominantly targeted at the church, taking into consideration the roles that the church has taken in the front line of constant criticism of this current administration. Olarewaju Salaudin says, Mr. Edmund, I used to feed the flocks, is now feeding on the flocks. What a twist of events in Christianity. This is coming from O.J. Dare. I suppose not to say this, but let me talk my mind. I'm not devil's advocate, just my mind. Karma during COVID lockdown, most popular church gave government money to help government. Now see the way government want to pay them back. Victor Falola says, Edmund, it's certainly clear that this APC government has no blueprint and ideology. We just have to go. Sam Woko.
It's been a pleasure.
I hope journalism is not becoming frustrating.
No, it's not.
It's still fun.
It's still fun because of the dynamism. You
saw the number of checkpoints on the way to his saying.
Yes, I did.
What did that tell you?
It told me that we are like in a cul-de-sac. We leave what we are supposed to do and pursue. Like people will say, a man whose house is burning does not pursue rats.
Yes,
that's exactly what we are doing.
I saw Sam in his saying recently, and that was on Thursday. Yes, and the number of checkpoints, you begin to wonder what's going on.
We must keep on agitating against the misgovernance that is prevailing, especially at the federal level. More and more power should go to the federating unit. And the federating unit should take it. Yeah, because it's lying on the floor.
All right. Take it and
make good use of it. Because if the powers come to the federating units and they mishandle it, we may end up going back to what we ran away from. So it's important that we shift. There's too much power in the center and we need to do something as a people. Let's hope the constitutional review that had been touted would give us something to look forward to.
Thank you. I worked with Bosun Alayode to bring you this edition of State Affairs. I also worked with Elizabeth Adebayo. I hope you have the time to watch the program on Splash FM fan page. I've shared it on my Facebook pages too. Next week is another time. I am Edmund Obilo. Thank you for listening.